Hello, Dave here. Thanks for clicking on the link. A little bit of a different one today, video. It's a little video on the city of Utrecht in the Netherlands. It's a beautiful little city that I visited a couple of weeks ago with my son. I intended to do all sorts and put to good use my video camera that I've just acquired, but it absolutely hammered down with rain, so I've put together a bit of a video on the place. But first, before I run through a couple of pictures, if we can just get on there, that one I think it is. This is the city of Utrecht in the Netherlands. As you can see, it's a star-fort city. It's absolutely beautiful, it really is. You have your main railway station along here. You walk through the shopping centre and you're straight into the city. Smack bang in the middle of the city is a huge cathedral, which I find there's quite a few Dutch cities that are inside these star fort fortifications, and they all have a bloody big cathedral smack bang in the middle, most of them anyway, the ones I've looked at. It has this wonderful strange canal that cuts through the centre of the city, and why it's so beautiful and strange is the canal's on one level and you can sit down by the side of the canal and have a drink and have something to eat, and the road and street level is quite a fair way above the canal level. It's really strange, and I'll show you in a little while. Excuse me. What I want to say before I move on to the pictures, a shout out to a lad called Colin Gibney. I'll link his site in the descriptions below when you know, I put this video out. But he's absolutely done some amazing work on star forts. I mean, he's actually listed thousands of them, you know, all over the world. And after watching a couple of his videos, one of them on Amsterdam actually, he shows how Amsterdam's inside a star fort pretty much like this city is. But he said, you know, he's started to look further out, the bigger picture. And I've started to do the same. And I came out from the city, and not far away, I found quite a big fort. It's been cut through by modern roads. I'm keeping it on the maps for now because it shows up the waterways better. But it definitely is a fort. Now we come out a little bit further. You move up. There's another star fort. And another star fort. And another star fort. You know, everywhere. Most of them are still, well, it tells you they're fort. Most of them are still forts and, you know, the tourist attractions. But if you have a car and you're into, you know, this type of thing, it'd be a wonderful day in the Netherlands trekking around with these places. But as you can see, you know, it's not moving for some reason. It's crashed. No, it hasn't. There we are. Move back out a bit. It's not playing ball with me. Go back to the map a bit easier. There we are. There's one there. Right, the city centre there. I came out from the right. That was the first fort down here. I've just shown you the ring of forts up there. If you come down below the city, there's another huge one there. One there, one there. I haven't done any research. I think there's another one somewhere down here. No, that's maybe the last one. You're getting up into the modern built-up area here. But, yeah, it's quite strange. You have the city itself inside a star fort. And, we have all these little baby star forts around. Right. Let's see if I can move in a bit, because there's just something I want to show you on here before I go on to the pictures. If I go onto the map, I'll be able to get on and see better where I am. I just want to drop down here. It'll let me. It won't let me move this map for some reason. Oh yes, it will. This is the main cathedral right in the city centre, right in the centre of the star fort. But what I want to do is, if I can drop down on this corner, if it's going to let me, is it? Yeah, drop down here. Come on. Oh, what a time to play up. I'm going to come onto this wall a bit in pictures. I'll also show you in the pictures. This is a full view of the roof apex that I'll show you and talk about. But this high-tech building here, I didn't get any pictures of it, but it's as what's synonymous with all sort of high-tech buildings. I mean, you've got your high-tech up at the top there, but you have these little attic windows, for want of a better word. And the other thing I want to point out here, before I go on to the pictures, is, as you can see, all this area is in mud, you know. But I've got a few pictures to show you, and it includes this area here, so right, back to the pictures now. Just a few pictures to run through with you that shows you the city, and a few strange things I've seen in the city as well. But this is the beauty of it, the only two levels that I find fascinating. And I do believe that this level actually runs right throughout the city. I don't believe that it's just, you know, here where the canal is, because there's evidence of mud flood in most of the streets around here. As you can see, it's great on a sunny day, but not so fun when it's bucketing down with rain. This one here I took because this one is actually a beer delivery that's coming along. The canal is a working canal as such, because it services all these businesses along here. All the refuse collection from these businesses down the canal level, all done by canal barge, which is, you know, a good thing. And as you can see here, just away from the populated centre, it's almost like warehousing storage areas here. Or there might have been accommodation, who knows. This is one of the corners of the star fort of the city itself. It's actually a prison, or it used to be a prison. It's closed now. But this is the exterior walls and embankment of the star fort itself. And where else would you expect to see a moggy going for a walk, eh? Right, mud flood evidence. These few pictures I'll show you, these are streets that are leading off away from the canal area, and also that run level with the canal area, but a couple of streets back. So, you know, the low levels can't be blamed onto the canal outside, because there is no canal outside of these buildings here. And as you can see, it's very prominent in some places and, you know, very discreet in others. This one really got me. I mean, you got your door here, but as you look down here, it's rather the top of another window, I think. As you can see, very clearly. You know, it's all along most of the streets. I mean, this was just a random building that I came across. as you can see, it has a little bit of tech work on the top here, and of course, as we can see on the next picture, I think, there we go, downstairs windows. These windows here are just really on the opposite side of the big square where the big cathedral is, because there's quite a few cities in Holland that are actually in the cities and towns that are inside of star forts, but you will find smack bang in the middle of every one of them usually is a massive cathedral, and Utrecht's no different. This is just a few of the, you know, the sites around that got me attention. Is the tech on this church. I do believe this one's a nunnery, this place, but as you can see, it's a thing that it's very prominent with all these tech buildings. Regardless how small the roof is, they have these tiny little windows with the tiny little tech devices on the top there, each one of them. A lovely pattern of the windows, cymatic pattern maybe, who knows. I've noticed there's one down here blocked up, there's also one the other side being bricked up. I sometimes think these buildings where they've had parts bricked up, it's part of the decommissioning, really, you know, to render these machines useless. But, I mean, look at the detail that's gone into these. I mean, they're tiny, really. You know, it's not as if you can stick a single bedroom in there, you know. It's part of the technology. You know, this is just the last couple of pictures of the outside of the place before I move on down the road. As you can see again, we have this bricked up area here. You know, it's so prominent in so many religious buildings. And this roof, no different. You have your little window there. I think I've got a bigger picture of that. Yeah, with the little antenna on top. These things, if people can help me, I'll show them as I go on around. I've started to notice them on roofs. On certain roofs, these hooks here. I mean, I was wondering whether they are just, you know, part of, when they are actually roofing these roofs, the tilers, whether it's something for them to, you know, hitch onto that's firm, rather than scaffolding and ladders or whatever. I don't know, or whether it's part of the technology, I don't know. But you see, there's none of these spikes on that roof there. There's none on this one here, I'm going to show you. But if you remember, and I'll show you a few as we go around, this place got me. It's just a little bit further along the road. It's a bloody big doorway, as you can see, smacked, well, in the middle of this brick wall. It looks absolutely hideous, really. And this brick wall area, as you can see, there's been so many different, you know, time periods that have been along and reopened windows and blocked windows up. You can't see on this picture here, but this area here used to be indoors, because the roof actually goes up to an apex here, and then it's all smashed off down this wall. So this used to be a building, I do believe, at one stage. But this doorway just freaked me out a little bit. And there's a couple of reasons why. I'll show you on this one, I'll show you on the closer one as well. Apart from what is the necessity of these? For religious purposes, you know, anyone out there that's religious, why are these necessary? You know, are there antenna to God, you know, do you get a better reception or more brownie points if you go to cathedrals where they have more of these? Because, you know, there's no rhyme or reason to have these on churches, and people just come under the usual banner of, oh, well, for decoration. Well, that's bullshit. It really is. The thing that got me with these, the apear. I've got a bigger picture. I don't know whether it's the picture or not, but they appear to be leaching or something seeping out, or maybe even just moss growing on them. But after the ones I've just seen in India, these roof finiels, after seeing how the construction, how they're made, they're not just single, they're certainly not bloody carved, that's for sure. They're not a single cast item, they're made up of layers, and layers of ceramic, and a centre core of copper, I think it is. So these things, and the idea that they're there for decoration, is just total lunacy. It really is. I'll just whack on to the next one. I think it shows you the jury's out on this one, really. You know, it's one of these things I noticed afterwards, not at the time, but you know, what is that green? I really don't know. It's just one of those strange things that I come across on this horribly wet day. The beauty about finding this door is it was open, so we made our way through it for a bit of shelter, because it's actually the cloisters to the back of the big church. But this fella got me here. Hang on, go back one. As you can see, he's not a very pleasant chap, because he appears to be got this poor chap here and sticking him in the head with a sword. But he's facing that way, and his legs on back to front, look. So work that one out. Moving through into this cloister area, the size of the door's got me. You know, that's me son with his boots and his hat on. He's about 6'2". So you can at least double him and stick a couple of foot on the top. You know, these doors are massive. And around the cloister, in the cloister areas, I noticed these areas as well. I don't know whether there's been some sort of, you know, glass in there in the past or whatever. Just don't know. It just seems to be all pig's ear of a job, whatever it is. I mean, it's these cast sections, not carved, for anybody, you know, that thinks there's blacksmiths, for God's sake. Stonemasons spend hours, you know, carving these things out. Well, they're not the cast. There we go. I mean, just look at that. Why is this necessary for a church? You know, for a place of religion and what religion teaches, you know, why would they need to go and spend all this splendour on totally useless ornamentation? Unless it's not useless. Now, the thing I've noticed right away around this enclosure area, the inner cloister, this metal bar that runs right through, right the way around this square. A few other things I've noticed as well, which I've just mentioned about on the roof. This is another roof. You can see these spikes on, or hooks, but as you can see here, there is none. And these little tiny, you know, rooms, windows, whatever, in the roofs of these tech buildings play a huge part, I think, but I just don't know what. Neither does anyone else for that matter. So, is it going to let me go on? Is it? No. Go back properly. Right. Move on. It's not going to have it. What a bugger. See, even here it's a better picture. You know, these are tiny, and I mean tiny, but the detail that's gone into them. See if we can move on a bit. Yeah, it's just another one, you know, just showing these bloody resonators, whatever they may be, but they're certainly not up there just for decoration. This another thing that got me. As you can see here, you've got that metal bar, you can see quite closely. But this inner cloisters area is guarded by these bloody horrible things. And I'll just run through them quickly. You know, the pictures aren't very good quality, as you can see the rain's teeming down. you know, make up your mind for yourself. Religious buildings, love, happiness, families. So why do you need these bloody things on your church? You know, no idea. It's difficult to see, but you can still see that metal bar that runs right the way through them all. I mean, he's got wings, that fella down there. He must have been drinking Red Bull. But I mean, they're just hideous. And that's it for in there. But just as I was leaving the church, you can't get into the church. It was all shut up. But this caught me eye outside the Statue of Liberty. It's supposedly a war memorial, but if you know what the Statue of Liberty is really about, you know what a bullshit story that is. So, but this is what caught me in this picture, and that's that massive door. You know, absolutely huge. This picture's really poor quality, as you can see, the sort of thing I was up against with the weather and the mist. But what it clearly shows is these tiny little windows I keep talking about on these tech roofs. You know, it's beyond me why they're so necessary. Because whether it's, this is a bell tower, believe it or not, freestanding bell tower. It's right outside the main cathedral. But it still has these same type of things on the top that cathedrals have. You know, that's a little tower there of some sort. Really strange building. And once I started looking at the official narrative and the stuff talking about it, something originated on this site for 2,000 years, I just, you know, blew it out the window. As you can see, as soon as you try and look up in the sky, the water blasts everything. Bloody rain, it was a terrible day. But that was a picture that I took one of my previous trips to Utrecht. I've been several times. But see, what I can't get over, a bell tower, you know, all this equivalent money today would be millions of pounds of spent just for a building to play bells in. It doesn't, I was going to say it doesn't resonate with me. Bit of a pun, but as you can see, what I call resonators now, they're everywhere along the top. I mean, look, it's almost like the band work that goes around the, what they call it, the cathedral gardens. I've just been in the cloisters, you know, metal. God knows how many bells are in. Like I say, the official narrative I don't look into anymore because it's bullshit. You know, most of our past history is bullshit. But these, you know, as I've said before, I think that when they've decommissioned these machines as such, this has been part of the decommissioning work, you know, blocking these windows up. You know, maybe there was never glass in there, maybe it was open like that and sound resonates through. You have these metal bloody strengthening bars running through here again, I see. Looks like a little bloody, don't know what the hell these fellas are up here. But it's an amazing structure. But exactly the same as what you find on churches. You know, very strange building. Right, move on. If it'll let me. On the way back from the centre to the train station, I saw this building in the distance. I've never noticed it before because I haven't been over this side of the city. But as you can see, the picture quality is absolute rubbish. But it really intrigued me. And what really intrigued me was the metalwork. And again, you've got two sets of windows in the roof here. You've got them there, and you have the smaller ones up the top here. All these have their own little tech devices on the top, as I'll show you in a sec. I've cheated here and gone down onto Google Earth. That's looking across the front of the building. That's actually the side of the building. Tiny windows in your roof. Each one has their own little antenna on the top. You'd have all these resonators on the top here. And what I'll say, as you can clearly see, you know, tiny little windows at the top here, slightly larger ones here. You have your metalwork right the way around the top, resonators everywhere. But what you can clearly see at the bottom here, it's firmly in mud. It has a deeper level, an underground level. Now this isn't in the city centre, this is quite a way out the city centre, and I'm not sure whether it falls just inside where the old Starfort waterway boundaries were, or just outside. I'm not sure, because all the modern building, as you can see, that's gone on behind, I just can't really tell. But as you can see here, clearly in mud, this side as well. And in Holland you find it the same as what you do in the UK. These buildings that are in mud event, buried layers. If you come down from the top to the first floor, the building's original wood windows, usually original brickwork. And then the last layer is a later addition to possibly hide what's actually behind there. Maybe any damage or remnants of the mud or the damage that's been done. But that's in UK as well, and as you can clearly see, it's the same in Holland. So, you know, this is the back of the same building. It's not quite as elaborate, but you've still got your windows, you've still got your tiny bits of tech there, you've got your resonators here. You know, you can see the metalwork just through there, and you can clearly see, you know, it's in mud. And that's just another picture of their archway. It almost, I don't know whether their archway has possibly been an entrance into the city once over, you know, back in its Starfort days. I have heard a few people say and mention about Starfort that, you know, they're there to deflect the mud. Once you're inside the Starfort, that you're safe. Well, these pictures that I've been showing you clearly shows that isn't the case. You know, it might be in the case of these little tiny Starforts, you know, the ones that are a couple of acre sites, but it's certainly not the case in the cities, because there's this city, you know, I've been into a few Dutch cities. See, this is just another building, next door to the one I've just shown you. And you have your windows in your attics with their own antenna. And look at all these things. They are not for show, people. They are part of the machine. See if it'll let me get out of this way a bit. And I'll just finish off on this picture here. It's one of the famous stores in Utrecht, and you can clearly see, although the bar isn't open, but you have your two levels, as I've been mentioning now throughout the video. But this lower level is not just restricted to canals, along the side of the canals. This lower level goes right throughout the city. And, you know, I just wish I'd had a bit more time. Well, it's not so much the time, it was the weather. Because although I've been to this city several times, this was the first time I've been in the city with, you know, mud flood and Starforts and, you know, these type of things that I'm now interested in. So, not really a tourist video, but all the same, Utrecht is an absolutely wonderful city. It's not far out of Amsterdam. You know, I know a lot of people are going to a convention in Amsterdam at the back end of the year. You know, if you have an extra day or two and you want to get away from Amsterdam centre, this place is just amazing, it really is. So really, I mean, there's a massive new shopping centre that's just been built. So if you've got your missus, you know, it's ideal for shopping, or it's just beautiful to walk around when, especially in the summer, when all you know, all the side here are all covered in chairs and, you know, people having drinks and something to eat. really great atmosphere, and you know, I can't praise the place enough. It's beautiful and well worth a visit. So anyway, I hope you like my little video on Utrecht, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.